Hello and welcome to the SAM Projects 2013 video for PowerPoint 1. We'll pull up a browser here and go to the SAM website. Information should be on Blackboard, the correct website to use. Use your student ID and password to log in. And when you get to the SAM site, you'll see this view. The calendar view is not the one I like to use, but rather if you click on this activity list view, near the top we can see a list of our projects, and you will see the projects as long as projects is highlighted and always available is unhighlighted. It doesn't matter about all those others, but as long as projects is highlighted and always available is unhighlighted, you will see all of your projects. Now the exact name of yours, mine says PowerPoint 1, yours will say something different, probably instructor name, maybe the semester, but find the PowerPoint 1 project, click on it. You'll see that you get 5 attempts on a project. That's great. And then once you say you're ready to make your first of your 5 attempts, you have a 1, 2, 3. 1 are the instructions we're going to follow. 2 is the start file we're going to use. And then 3 is this link right here that we will upload our work for grading when we're done. So let's get our instructions by clicking on the first link there. Do I want to open these instructions? Yes, I do. So the instructions open up here in Word. Notice across the top we have our ribbon here. I'm going to click Enable Editing on this highlight notification so that I get my regular ribbon here across the top. And I can see that this project that we're working on is titled Driving Green. And a brief description of what we're doing in this project. We're going to rearrange the orders of slides, add a slide, add some text to the slides, and do some other steps. And then before the project steps begin, there's this Getting Started area that says the name of the start file that we're going to be using and how we want to rename it. Now the start file has a unique name, SC_PPT 2013 _C1 P1A first last name, and that will be your first last name _1. And the only thing that we're going to change is the ending on that. We're going to make this an _2 before we start the project. So we're going to download the project, save it in the location where we know where it's at. I typically save on my desktop. And we're going to do an _2 on that file name. Also, when you open the file, ensure that your name, first and last name, appears on slide 1 at the presenter notes at the bottom of slide 1. This is to make sure you have the right file that you're submitting. So let's do that real quick. Let's go back to our browser. Step 2 is to get that start file. We just did step 1, the instructions. Step 2 is the start file. So I'll click on that link and open up the start file. PowerPoint opens up. Again, I get the notification in yellow here across the top that it's disabled. I need to enable editing. So I click Enable Editing, which makes the ribbon visible. And I can see here on slide 1, because slide 1 is selected in the left-hand navigation area, and below the slide are the comments, and I can see that this file created for, in my case, it says Big Red. You should see in your file your first name, last name. That same first name, last name you see here on the presenter comments, you should see in the file name itself. And again, you don't need to worry about this. It's all SC_PPT1 2013 _C1 P1A your first last name, where mine shows Big Red _1. So I have the _1. I want to save this as _2. So I go under the in the ribbon here. The leftmost tab in the ribbon is File. And I click on File, and I can do a Save As. And on Save As, I can save it on SkyDrive, or I can save it on the computer. I want to save it on the computer, and I want to save it on the desktop. That's where I like to save my things, so I always know where they're at, on the local computer, on the desktop. And there's the name that I want to use. I'm going to say change the _1 to _2. The only change I need to make here on my desktop, and I am good to go. All right, so let's go back to our instructions document. So here's our PowerPoint, and here's our instruction document, and we're just going to step through this project step by step, doing what we're told to do. So first step is we're going to change the theme of the project to Facet. So going back to our PowerPoint, we can go under the Design tab across the top, Home, Insert, Design tab, and in the Design tab, the first group here is the Themes group. And if you want to click on, when you have these ribbons, if you click on the bottom right drop-down arrow, it'll give you all of them, or it'll give you a bigger window. They're still not all there because there's more than will fit. But we can see the themes that we have for PowerPoint. As you might expect, there's a lot of themes here. PowerPoint's very visual. We are looking for, let me Alt-Tab to go back to my document here. The facet theme, Alt-Tab to switch between documents. And when I look for the facet theme, one thing that's nice about these is they're alphabetical. So we start with, after the office theme, well, facet was the very first one there. I thought these were alphabetical, but maybe they are. Okay. So the office theme comes first. Well, they're not alphabetical, so I take that away. But I can find quickly that the facet is the second one. First row, second column is facet. So I select facet. And what I'm doing by selecting this theme is not only changing the background, I'm also changing the fonts, the font types, the font colors, and the theme colors to all have what kind of looks like an off green color, sea green kind of colors. And we'll see when we change fonts later on that the theme, the colors of our fonts match the theme of the overall presentation itself. Step 2. On slide 1, which has the text driving green, change the subtitle font to dark green, accent 2, darker 50%. And here we were talking about the themes, right? Accent 2, every theme has an accent. Dark green happens to be accent 2 for the facet theme. If I had a different theme, accent 2 wouldn't be dark green. It might be blue or red or purple or something. But for the chosen theme, dark 2 should be what I see as the accent 2. And every accent has a shading of lighter and darker set of pre-built options so that you can further tweak and customize how you want things to look. The subtitle, so we're looking for the subtitle on the slide 1 to be dark green, accent 2, and change the font size to 60 points. Okay, so we come back here. Here's the title, and here's the subtitle. I want to select the subtitle. I want to make sure I get everything, including the space at the end here. So I click all the way from the far left and move all the way to the far right there. And I want to do two things. I want to change the font color, and here's my back in the Home tab in the font group. I can see hover over here the font color, the little A with red underneath it. If I click on the arrow to the right of that, I get a list of all the theme colors. And below the theme colors are the standard colors. The standard colors do not change with themes, but these theme colors do change. And right now we have background 1 and foreground 1, or text 1, and we have background 2 and text 2, and that's always the first 4. And then the last 6 are always our accents. So there's accent 1, accent 2, accent 3, and these colors happen to be light green, green, and gold. And then accent 4 happens to be orange, and so on. We want to do the accent 2, which is always this 6th column. And within accent 2, which happens to be dark green for this theme, there are 5 different shades: lighter 80%, lighter 60%, lighter 20% or 40%, and then a darker 25 and a darker 50. But they're all the same basic color there. And we are going to Alt-Tab back, darker 50%. So accent 2, darker 50% is right down here at the bottom. We also want to change the font size to be 60 points. So up here in the same group here, font size 60. So now my subheading is driving smart with the correct color and font size. Step 3. On slide 2, which has the title, "What does driving green mean?" you are instructed to use the content placeholder on the left hand of the slide to insert the following bulleted item lists: reduce fuel consumption and reduce air pollution. So let's go to slide 2. So here's slide 2, and we're supposed to use the content placeholder on the left hand of the slide. So here's our content placeholder on the left hand. We want to come over here and add these two bulleted items: reduce fuel consumption, reduce air pollution. Reduce fuel consumption, return, and reduce air pollution. Okay, so we typed in those two bulleted items in the content placeholder on the left side of the slide. Step number 4, with slide 2 still displaying, insert an online picture in the content placeholder on the right, and we want to search MicrosoftOffice.com for leaves and car, the leaves and car clip shown in figure 1 below. And if I scroll down, so there it is, and the title of this, our search keyword is going to be leaves and car. If the leaves and car clip is not available, please select an alternative image of your choosing. But I think it'll probably be available here. So now I'm on this placeholder on the right, and you'll notice, and I didn't really say this before, I just started typing, click to add text, but this time I'm not adding text, I'm adding an image. And in the middle of this placeholder, there's actually 6 little highlighted or grayed out options, but they are active if I hover over those. If I want to put a table in this area, I can just click here. If I want to do a chart, if I want to do smart art, and so on. Right? Pictures, online pictures, and insert video. We're going to do online pictures because we're wanting to search the Microsoft site. Right? And it also tells us an online picture. Please insert an online picture. We want to search MicrosoftOffice.com for leaves and car. So we're going to search MicrosoftOffice.com for leaves and car. Press enter, and hopefully our clip is going to show up. It does show up. There it is. I'll simply click on this, say insert, and boom, the content placeholder on the right places the clip art that we were looking for in our sheet. And that looks pretty good. And it happens to match our theme very well, so kudos to the project writer for that. Step 5. On slide 3 that has the title, What is the Objective? Resize the image that already exists on there to be 4.5 inches tall. If necessary, move the image so that it fills most of the white space on the lower right side of the slide. So on slide 3, take this image and change its height to be 4.5 inches. Now, when you select on an image, you get a new tab. So, and I'll show you this. I'm going to unselect the image, and you'll see that I've got Review, View, and Add-ins. Selecting the image, I still have Review, View, and Add-ins, but we also have a special Picture Tools format option that only makes sense to an image. And if I look at this tab, clicking on the Format tab here, I see that the choices here are to remove the background and to adjust the image. I can do some manipulations here, picture style, picture border, and so on. And then at the far right here is the size, the height, and the width. And I want to change this height. I can do it manually by clicking on this to be 4.5 inches, or I could have typed in 4.5 inches. Now it was keeping the aspect ratio, so it was resizing as I was growing the height, and that's fine. We're not told to not do that. So, and images typically look better when they keep their aspect ratio. And then it said if you want to move this image so it's down in the white space in the lower right-hand part of the slide. All right, so it fills most of the white space on the lower right part of the slide. Step 6. With slide 3 still displaying, insert a new slide using the section header layout. And then it tells us to use a title placeholder, eco driving tips, and in the text placeholder to type the text for driving smart with an exclamation point. So with slide 3 still showing, we're going to insert a new slide of a certain type. And in the home tab to the right of that is the insert tab. So click on the insert tab to the right of the home tab. And the leftmost option is new slide. And if I click the drop-down arrow associated with new slide, I get a list of a number of slide types, including the section header type, which is what we want to use. So I'm going to click the section header type, and this new slide is added, and it has a title and text in the section header layout. And if I remember correctly, Eco-Driving Tips is the title, Eco-Driving Tips. And the text is for driving smart with an exclamation point. For driving smart with an exclamation point. So there we have done step 4. Or rather slide 4, which is step 6. Step 7. On slide 5, which should have the text, maintain a smooth and steady speed. Apply the italic font style to the words when possible in the second bulleted item. On slide 5, which should be maintain a smooth and steady speed, which it is. Slide 5 has that title. We want to do italic font for the words when possible in the second bulleted item. So the first bulleted item is use cruise control. The second bulleted item is switch to a higher gear when possible, and the text when possible. I will select that text and then I will make it italic, which I can do by doing the home italic, or I could do Control I, either one. You can see the hint, the pop-up hint tells me Control I will italicize, but I'll use the ribbon, do it that way. So when possible is now italicized. Step 8. On slide 6, which has the text, "Pay attention to traffic flows," you are to create a multi-level bulleted list with the following text in the content placeholder. Avoid quick starts and stops. Let's do this. So step 6, pay attention to traffic flows. We are to have avoid quick starts and stops. We are to say ease into acceleration, and notice the ease into accelerations and brake gradually are tabbed over. So those are at a level of indentation. So ease into accelerations. So I hit return. That takes me to a tab at the same level. If I want to go a level deeper, increase my level, in the home group, in the paragraphs, home tab paragraphs group, there is this increase, decrease indent level. So I'm going to increase the indent level and say ease into accelerations, EASE, into accelerations, carriage return. And when I hit carriage return, it goes back to the same indentation level as the line you just got through typing. So I'm still at this indented level when I say brake gradually. Now I hit carriage return. I want to go back to the first heading to say maintain a safe distance between cars, and I can do that using this increase, decrease indent level option. Maintain a safe distance between cars. Now you want to be careful and make sure you have your spelling right. You're saying what they want word for word, character for character. It's a little picky. Maintain a safe distance between cars. Maintain a safe distance between cars. Looks like I got those right, but it'll be very easy. And the most common thing you'll miss is typing something, leaving the S off of accelerations or something like that, spelling gradually wrong or something. So be careful of those as you type them in. Be mindful of what you're doing. Step number 9, which is just this step, I was making sure it didn't scroll on to the next page. Step number 9 says move slide 9 with the title Plan Ahead so that it becomes the new slide 7, and then change the slide layout to title and content. So slide 9, Plan Ahead, and there's slide 9. It does have Plan Ahead. I'm going to grab, drag, and drop so that it's the new slide 7. And now I can see that slide 7 is Plan Ahead. And then I want to change the layout to be title and content. So I can take this slide and I can right click on it. And when you right click, you have a pop-up menu, and near the bottom of this is an option for layout with an arrow to the right. And when you hover over layout, it gives you a list of all your options here. And in this case, we're doing title and content. So I just select title and content, and it takes that heading and that content and fills the slide with it, and it got rid of whatever that extra element in there that we weren't using for this slide. Step number 10. In slide 9 that has the title Maintain the Car Properly, build a bulleted list with the following text in the content placeholder. So we're going to create a text bulleted list that says these 4 lines, following the owner's manual guidelines and so on. So slide 9, which has the title Maintain the Car Properly, I want to say follow the owner's manual guidelines. And that's owners with an apostrophe S, I believe. So it is owners apostrophe S, manual guidelines plural. So we put that apostrophe in there. It'll probably take off if I do that wrong. Oops, and I misspelled guidelines. UIDE guidelines. Okay. Second line is to get regular tune-ups with a hyphen. The third line is to use the correct oil grade. And the fourth line is keep recommended air pressure in tires. So not only are you learning PowerPoint while you're working through this project, you're also improving your car's efficiency. So those are all good ideas. In fact, I probably need to get my car oil changed as I think about this. Step 11. With slide 9 still displaying, move the clip art to the blank area to the right of the bulleted list. So with slide 9 still displaying, clip art to the blank area to the right of the bulleted list. So here's slide 9, here's my clip art, and it says move it to the blank area to the right of the bulleted list. So there's some white space blank area, which is what I think they're talking about. Okay, so now I've done that movement of my clip art, and that looks good. Slide 10, or step 12, slide 10, which has the title, When You Drive Smarter, It Is ... Apply the bold font style to the word and between the two bulleted items. Okay, so slide 10, which has the title, When You Drive Smarter, It Is ... I want to apply bold to this and between the two bulleted items. And I select it and apply bold. So that has been done. On slide 11, which is a blank slide, insert an online picture in the content placeholder by searching office.com for the woman holding a wallet photograph shown in figure 2 below. If the woman holding a wallet photograph is not available, please select an alternate image of your choosing. Okay, so let's come back here, go slide 11, which is a blank slide as it said it was going to be. Slide 11, a blank slide. Do the online picture, insert an online picture. Now we don't have the little context menu in here where I can hover over and have insert picture, so I have to insert the picture using the tabs up here at the top. So there's a home tab, an insert tab, the design tab. It's the insert tab, as you might suspect, that would have our picture options. And I have two choices. I have pictures and online pictures and screenshots of photo album. Pictures is your local machine, and if you hover over it, it'll even give you a little context hint there. Insert pictures from your computer or from other computers you're connected to on the network. Online pictures, which is what we want, this will allow us to go off to online sites, including MicrosoftOffice.com, Bing, which is Microsoft's search engine, and others. So Office.com clip art, I want to search for woman holding a wallet. And oops, there is no picture of woman holding a wallet. But it says right here, if woman holding a wallet photograph is not available, please select an alternative image of your choosing. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to say woman and money, see what that search gives me, and that gives me a number of options. I personally don't like clip art. I would much rather have photographs over clip art. And I can pick any one of these that I want to of woman and money as a replacement for what we were talking about there. I see a lot of clip art, which personally I'm not a big fan of. You may be a huge clip art fan, in which case you've got lots of good choices. But I'm going to pick this one here of the woman at the ATM and insert that. So there I have, in my case, a woman at an ATM. You will use whatever image you wanted to use in this context. Apply the rotate transition to all the slides in the presentation. Okay, so now we're doing transitions, which is how you go from one slide to the other slide, and we're going to use the rotate option. So we come back to our presentation, which happens to have 12 slides in it, and I want to select all the slides in the presentation. Now there's a couple ways you can do that. The way I usually do it is select one of the slides at the beginning or the end, and with it selected, I go to the opposite end, hold down the Shift key, and select a slide. So now all 12 slides are selected. Shift will do a multi-select of everything from the range. So I have all 12 selected. Now I want to go in the Transitions tab, and I want to use the transition of rotate, I believe it was. What was it called? Yes, apply the rotate transition to all the slides. So again, everything's selected. I can see everything selected. I want to come into the transitions option, and I want to do the rotate option. So in dynamic content near the bottom here is our rotate. So that's where we want to get rotate from, and I will select that. Now what will happen is, as we transition from a slide, that's the way the transition happens. And it's kind of a cool transition. I don't know if you saw that there, just for but it is a very, very nice transition. Update the document properties by entering the keyword green driving in the tags box. Okay, so now we're talking about the document itself. There is something called document properties, and you can put keywords in there that will help with your search for your files when you're coming back for things later. Kind of like how you put keywords on web pages to help your Google search. You can put keywords in your documents to help your local search for your files. So how do we do that? Green driving. I want to put that in the keywords in the tags box. So back to PowerPoint. In the File tab, we have a list over here of our properties is on the right-hand side here, and I can see size and slides and so on. And there's tags, and there's no tags currently. It says add a tag. I click on add a tag, and it gives me a edit dialog where I can put green, what am I typing in here? Green driving. Oops. Green driving. And I click off of that, and now green driving is a tag for this. And that'll help potentially with searching for this file later or for whatever I want it to be. Step 16, our last step. Check the spelling in the presentation to identify and correct any spelling errors. And they're giving me a hint here. You should find and correct at least one spelling error. So if I go back to my document, hit the escape key to get off of this window and get back to my tabs. I want to do a spelling check, and when I do a spelling check, it's going to find at least one error. So in the Review tab, as our list of tabs across the top, there is the leftmost item in the Review tab is spelling in our proofreading group. So I'm going to click on the spelling option. Now the spelling option is going to go through my presentation. It's going to find one spelling error. Remove unnecessary items from the trunk. And I want to, they have the word and it's misspelled. It's not unnecessary, it's unnecessary or something else. But they're giving me the suggestion for this, which has two N's, unnecessary. That's what I want, and I want to change that. So I select the change, click it, and then it's going to go through there and change that for me to be unnecessary. Spell check is complete, so it went all the way through the presentation, fixed exactly one spelling error, which is kind of what I expected based on our instructions. And we're done with this. Our presentation should look like the final figures on the following pages. So let's glance at those. So that's what it looks like in outline view. If I want to see my slide in outline view, down here across the bottom, there is this option for with the little 4 squares, and I can click on that, and I can zoom in and zoom out however I want to, and I can kind of see my presentation in that outline view, and I can see it looks like what it wants to look like, with the exception that they have the figure, the one with the wallet, and I have the figure of a woman at the ATM. But other than that, everything looks about the same. So I feel pretty good about that, the way it looks. Presentation should look like the final figure in the following pages, which it does. Save your changes, close your presentation, and exit PowerPoint. Then follow the directions to upload your project. So to make sure I've got everything saved and done, I'm going to save and close. So I don't want to do all this work and not save it and not get credit for it. And then at this point, I'm going to go back to my browser on the SAM website. Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3, submit your work. So I go on the Browse button to submit my work. I know I've got a copy here on my local desktop, and right there it is on my desktop. So I will select that file, I will say Submit, and I will get hopefully 3 green check marks as it looks at the file for file size and doesn't have a virus, and I forget what the third thing is, but it's actually checking for 3 things. The file format, to make sure I'm actually uploading a correctly formatted PowerPoint Office 2013 file. So everything's been uploaded. It's now actually being graded in the background, and it's probably done grading. If I go look at the Reports tab, I can see how I did. So in the Reports tab up here across the top, I can see, there's my PowerPoint project that I just got through submitting. If I click on the Download File icon, I can open up my graded file. So here's my file back with comments. I'll say Enable Editing, although I'm not really going to edit this, just because I always like to see that. And here's my document. If I look at the first page, I can double click on it and to see this a little bit better. There's a comment that was added. Find the graded summary report on the last slide. Oh, okay. So there's my all my slides here. If I go down to the last slide, hey, this was added to my project, and woohoo, my score is 100 out of 100. So I got a perfect score. It goes through each of the steps in my presentation, step by step by step, exactly what I did, and it talks about each item that was involved, and it checks it step by step, item by item, all the way through. If I had missed one of these, there'd be a little red X by the thing I'd missed, so I'd know exactly what was wrong and exactly what I need to fix. Go back to the file, not this graded file, but go back to the original file, make the fix, and resubmit again. You get 5 attempts. And hopefully you'll be able to get the 100 out of 100 score on your PowerPoint Project 1.